The ballroom of the Fairmont Hotel in downtown Seattle glittered like a movie set. Chandeliers threw shards of light across tuxedos and sequined gowns, while camera flashes popped like fireworks along the red carpet. Claire Bennett, freelance photographer, stood at the rope line with her Canon slung low. Her contract was clear: capture candid shots of the West Coast Education Foundation's gala. Hand over the images, no staged portraits, no glossy retouching. She liked it that way her job was to catch truth, not produce propaganda. A ripple of excitement moved down the carpet like a wave. Adrian Cole had arrived, CEO of Cole and North Capital, billionaire before 40. The man who'd just pledged a scholarship fund for kids in underfunded districts. Tonight, in a navy suit and black tie, he looked every inch the power figure the press worshipped and stalked. Claire lifted her camera, firing 3 quick frames. Through her lens, she saw details most people missed: the set of his jaw, the precise rhythm of his stride, the flicker of fatigue under eyes trained to hide it. He carried himself like a man who lived in glass towers and knew they could crack. "Mr. Cole," a reporter shouted, breaking through the rope line, "isn't it true your charity fund is just a cover for the Helios merger? Are you leveraging philanthropy for a business deal?" The security team tensed, but the mic was already in Adrian's face. Adrian's reply was cool, measured. "Tonight is about scholarships." The reporter pressed, "But if Helios..." Claire stepped in, flashing her media badge. "Excuse me. Please stay behind the red line. Guests need a clear path inside." Her tone was calm, professional, but firm enough to give the guards time to close in. The reporter muttered curses and stepped back. Adrian's grey eyes flicked to her. For 2 seconds, she felt the weight of his gaze. "Thank you," he said, low enough that only she heard. "Just doing my job," Claire answered, pulling back behind the lens. Inside, the gala hummed with jazz and champagne. Claire moved quietly through the crowd, snapping shots that told smaller stories: a mother smoothing her son's boatie, a teacher laughing with his students, a donor blinking back tears at a scholarship speech. When Adrian took the stage, she positioned herself at the far left, near the shadow of a column. His speech was short, no buzzwords, no corporate theater. Instead, he told a simple story about a teacher who once showed him how to fix an old computer fan with nothing more than a rag. "Most problems don't require a new machine," Adrian said, a half-smile cutting across his serious features. "They just require us to clear out the dust." The room laughed. Claire clicked twice. For once the steel in his eyes softened. It was the first image she'd captured of Adrian Cole looking less like a billionaire and more like a man. Later, backstage, Adrian stood alone near the curtain, jacket draped over one arm, a child's thank you card in his hand. Crayon stars scrawled across the paper. The light from a hallway sconce brushed gold over his cheekbone, highlighting a rare vulnerability. Claire raised her camera and took 3 silent frames. She knew instinctively this was the photograph that mattered. Nice angle, a voice purred behind her. Claire turned to see Maya Hart, a polished PR executive whose name circled in the same orbit as Adrian's, rumored to be his ex. Her smile was glossy, practiced. "You're the freelancer?" Maya asked Claire Bennett. Claire said, "We'll need you to send over the close-up shots of Adrian before they're released," Maya continued, her tone sliding from friendly to directive. "For brand consistency." Claire straightened. "Per my contract, images go to the foundation. not outside PR. They decide what's released. Maya's smile sharpened. You're young. In this business, little favors build careers. Good photos build careers, Claire countered, and lifted her camera strap onto her shoulder. Their eyes locked for a beat, and Maya's expression chilled. Then she pivoted away, heels clicking like punctuation. Near midnight, Claire returned to her tiny apartment in Capitol Hill. She uploaded the memory cards. Tagged folders, candid stage, guests, behind the scenes. When she opened the set from backstage, the photo of Adrian holding the child's star card jumped out. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't PR, but it was real. She adjusted exposure, balanced the light, exported the TIFF. Then she delivered a private link to the Foundation's comms team. With a note, images for review, not for public release, until you decide. The next morning, her phone buzzed non-stop. A group chat. Claire, your shot of Cole is on the Foundation's homepage. An email. We've selected 6 of your photos. Thank you for capturing the heart of last night. Her image, the crayon star in Adrian's hand, was everywhere. The caption read, Our stars are the students. It spread across social feeds like wildfire. Claire smiled privately. For once, a photo wasn't about the billionaire in the frame, but about the kid behind the drawing. Then her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost let it go to voicemail, then answered. Bennett, she said. Adrian Cole, came the reply. His voice was low, even, but warmer than it had been in the ballroom. I wanted to thank you. That photo, it's honest. I'm glad you think so, Claire said, adjusting the strap of her camera bag. I'd like to buy a print. And, if you're willing, meet for coffee. Not business? Just to say thank you. Claire froze. A rule she'd set long ago echoed in her mind. No one-on-one meetings with subjects for 48 hours after an event. It kept her clean, kept her out of PR games. I appreciate the invitation, she said carefully, but I don't meet clients privately within 48 hours. Personal rule. On the other end, silence stretched. Then, that's a good rule, Adrian said. When the 48 hours pass, may I try again? You can send an email, Claire said. I'll respond during business hours. Fair enough. A pause. I hope your day has good light. The line clicked dead. Claire lowered the phone, staring out at Seattle's drizzle against her window. Wrong time, she thought. Maybe wrong world. Yet something in his tone lingered, like the after-image of a flashbulb. Minutes later, an email pinged into her inbox. Subject, a small proposal. From acol@cncap.com. The message was brief. Thank you for holding the line last night. If you're open, I'd like to commission a candid photo series for our scholarship program. You keep artistic control. We retain usage rights. No rush. Adrian Claire exhaled. She opened her contract template, added one clause. Artistic integrity belongs solely to the photographer. Then she typed back, if this clause is accepted, I'll meet with your legal team after the 48-hour mark. She hit send. Outside, rain tapped against the glass. Inside, Claire closed her camera case and stuck a post-it on the lid. Light first, noise later. And somewhere across town, Adrian Cole read her reply. On Wednesday morning, Claire walked into the glass atrium of Cole and North Capitol. The place smelled like polished stone and expensive silence. A receptionist in a black suit checked her ID, handed her a visitor badge. and pointed her toward the 27th floor. Claire adjusted the strap on her camera bag as the elevator rose. The numbers blinked upward, smooth and soundless. She caught her reflection in the steel door's dark jeans, blazer, hair tied back. She looked like she belonged and didn't, all at once. When the doors opened, she expected a boardroom-long mahogany table, intimidating chairs. Instead, she found a smaller conference room with abstract art on the walls and sunlight spilling across a white table. Adrian Cole stood by the window, sleeves rolled to his forearms, jacket off. Without the stage lights and black tie, he looked less like a Billionaire headline and more like a man coming off a long week. "Miss Bennett," he said, turning. "Thanks for coming, Claire," she corrected. "And you're welcome," he gestured to the table. "I reviewed your edits to the contract. Artistic control stays with you. We'll hold usage rights. No interference beyond privacy protections for students." Claire slid a printed copy across the table. "And credit on all published work. That's non-negotiable." He read the clause again, then looked at her. "You fight for your work. It's not about fighting," Claire said. "It's about truth. If you want glossy PR, there are photographers who will airbrush reality until you look like marble. That's not me." Adrian's mouth twitched, not quite a smile. "Good. I've had enough marble." The contract was signed within minutes. Simple, clean, with her rules intact. For a moment, Claire wondered if he was serious or if he was playing a longer game. The first shoot began that afternoon. Claire roamed the open-plan offices, catching small scenes. Analysts bent over spreadsheets, interns laughing over takeout cartons, a project manager sketching charts on a whiteboard. She stayed invisible, her shutter muted, the way she preferred. When Adrian passed through the floor, conversations stilled for a beat. Employees straightened, eyes flicking toward him. Claire snapped one shot his hand, brushing a desk as he leaned down to ask a question, his posture casual but commanding. The photo captured something the room already knew. Power didn't need volume. Later. In a glass-walled meeting room, Claire paused outside the door. Adrian was alone, tie loosened, shoulders set heavy. A legal pad lay on the table in front of him, covered in notes. His hand rubbed the bridge of his nose, eyes closed. Sunlight from the window drew a sharp outline around him. Claire raised her camera. "Don't," Adrian said, without opening his eyes. She froze. He opened them, met her gaze through the glass. "That moment doesn't belong in a report." Claire lowered the camera, but didn't step away. "It belongs if it's true. People want to see leaders as human, not statues." Adrian leaned back in his chair, studying her like a puzzle. "And what happens when truth looks like weakness? A shot like that leaks, and suddenly the CEO's exhausted face is red as instability. Stocks react. Employees panic. A truth out of context becomes a weapon." Claire's grip tightened on her camera. "Or it becomes connection. If they see you as human, maybe they'll trust you more." For a moment, silence held. Then Adrian gave a single nod. "One frame. If you keep it, use it carefully." Claire lifted the camera and clicked once. Just once. A raw moment captured, fragile and unpolished. That night, in her apartment, she uploaded the files. The photo stared back at her. Adrian half-slouched, shirt collar open, sunlight haloing the fatigue around his eyes. It wasn't flattering. It wasn't brutal. It was honest. Her phone buzzed. An email from Adrian. "I know you took it. If you use it, make sure it says human, not scandal." Claire exhaled slowly. Most clients begged for edits, for perfection. He was asking only for context. That was rarer and more dangerous. She flagged the image, stored it in a separate folder. She wasn't sure yet if she'd deliver it. The next day, Claire returned for more shots. She blended into the background as Adrian moved through his schedule, a meeting with the CFO, a quick check-in with HR, a walkthrough of the internship program. Employees lit up when he spoke directly to them, even briefly. Claire caught a series of frames that told a story of a man who was not untouchable, but engaged. During a break, Adrian approached her near the coffee station. "You move like a ghost. People barely notice you. Best compliment a photographer can get," Claire said, sipping her own coffee. He studied her. "Why this line of work? You could be shooting weddings, fashion spreads. Save for money." Claire shrugged. "I don't like rehearsed smiles. I want the in-between moments, the kind that tell you who someone is when no one's looking. That's a dangerous thing to want." Adrian said quietly. "Maybe," Claire replied, "but it's the only thing worth capturing." Their eyes met again. Neither looked away first. That evening, Claire reviewed another batch of images. Employees laughing mid-conversation. A janitor leaning on his mop, grinning at something an analyst said, and Adrian standing in front of a window, skyline blurred behind him. Gaze steady but not cold. It was a portrait that felt alive, not staged. A man under pressure, but still standing. Claire tagged it deliver. She closed her laptop and leaned back in her chair. 2 days into the contract, and already she was walking a tightrope. Truth versus perception, boundaries versus curiosity. She didn't know yet which side Adrian truly wanted her on, but she knew one thing. For the first time in years, her work felt less like a job and more like the start of a story she wasn't sure she was ready to tell. By Friday morning, Claire's inbox was flooded. The foundation had officially released her photo of Adrian holding the child's crayon star card. News blogs picked it up, calling it the rare human moment from Wall Street's Pacific King. Social media turned it into a meme, half earnest, half cynical. Claire scrolled through headlines while sipping burnt diner coffee. Billionaire with a heart. Cole's soft side. PR genius or real deal. She closed the browser before she saw the comments. She didn't need strangers dissecting her work or her subject as if either was a marketing campaign. Her phone buzzed. A message from Adrian's assistant. "Mr. Cole would like you at headquarters this afternoon for additional shots. Focus. Employees at lunch with interns." Claire typed back. Confirmed. She slipped her camera into its case, slung her bag over her shoulder, and told herself to stay professional. This was a job, not a narrative. At Cole and North, the cafeteria buzzed with energy. Long tables of employees mixed with college interns, some in second-hand blazers, others in hoodies with earbuds hanging loose. Adrian sat at one table, sleeves rolled, listening to a sophomore from Tacoma talk about being the first in his family to go to college. Claire stayed on the edges, shooting from angles that caught the intern's nervous laughter and Adrian's steady, attentive posture. The light was good, bright, but not harsh, reflections bouncing off steel and glass. "Smile for the camera, Mr. Cole," one intern teased. Adrian glanced at Claire, expression unreadable. She kept shooting. Later, as the group dispersed, Adrian approached her. "Do you ever put the camera down?" "Not when I'm working." "Doesn't it get heavy?" Claire tapped the strap on her shoulder. Truth usually does. For a second, he almost smiled. Then his phone buzzed, and his expression shuddered. "Excuse me." He walked toward the elevators, phone pressed to his ear. Voice dropping low. Through the glass, Claire caught only fragments. "Bored isn't happy." "No, we can't spin it that way. It'll look worse." She lowered her camera. Even without a photo, the moment etched itself into her memory. Power looked different up close, not bulletproof, but brittle. That night, Claire uploaded the day's shots. She delivered a gallery to the foundation, flagged the best images for usage. Then, curiosity got the better of her. She Googled herself. She shouldn't have. A blog post on a gossip site had surfaced. Who's behind the lens? Meet Claire Bennett, the freelancer suddenly tied to Adrian Cole's image makeover. Her stomach sank. The article wasn't just about her work. It dredged up her Instagram, cherry-picked photos of her at gallery shows, mentioned an old roommate who'd once tagged her in a bar selfie with the caption, "Future, world changer." The comments were worse. Typical CEO finds a pretty face to humanize him. She's angling for more than a paycheck. PR stunt disguised as candidates. Claire slammed the laptop shut. Her chest felt tight. She wasn't naive. Attention always came with exposure, but she hadn't signed up to be part of the story. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Against her better judgment, she answered, "Claire Bennett." The voice was smooth, female. "This is Maya Hart." Claire sat up. "How did you get my number?" "I'm in communications." Numbers have a way of circulating. A pause, deliberate. "I saw the coverage today. Your work is compelling. But you should know, this spotlight cuts both ways." Claire's jaw tightened. "Thanks for the warning. I can handle myself." Maya's laugh was soft and practiced. "I used to think that, too, before I learned how unforgiving this ecosystem is. People will spin your images to fit whatever narrative they need. And you, unfortunately, are becoming part of Adrian's. I'm a contractor, not his PR team." "That's not how the world sees it," Maya said, her tone silk over steel. "And trust me, perception is everything." Before Claire could respond, the line clicked dead. The next morning, Adrian called her directly. His voice was low, edged with fatigue. "Did Maya contact you?" Claire hesitated. "Yes. What did she say?" "That I'm part of your narrative now. That perception is everything." Adrian cursed under his breath. She shouldn't have reached out. She doesn't speak for me anymore. Funny, Claire said, because she sure sounds like she still does. Silence. Then Adrian sighed. Look, Maya has her own agenda. Ignore her. That's easy for you to say. You don't have bloggers crawling through your personal life. His tone sharpened. You think I don't? Claire bit her tongue. He wasn't wrong. But the difference was, he had armor. She had none. Claire, Adrian said, softer now. You wanted candid, real. This is what real looks like. Messy, uncomfortable, sometimes unfair. If you want to step back, I'll understand. She closed her eyes. Walking away would be simple. But simple wasn't why she picked up a camera in the first place. I'm not stepping back, she said. But I'm not your shield either. If people think I'm part of your image strategy, that's on you to correct, not me. Fair, Adrian paused. Then I'll make sure it's clear, publicly. Good, Claire said. She ended the call before he could say more. That evening, she stood in front of her bathroom mirror, toothbrush dangling from her hand. She looked tired shadows under her eyes, hair pulled into a messy knot. For the first time, she wondered if Maya was right. Maybe she was already part of a machine too big to fight. Her phone buzzed with an email notification. Subject line, draft, press, statement. She clicked. It was from Adrian's corporate comms team. The draft read, recent media speculation about photographer Claire Bennett is inaccurate. Ms. Bennett is an independent contractor. Her work documents our scholarship program authentically, without influence from our PR or executive staff. Claire set the toothbrush down. He had kept his word, but the question lingered. Was it protection or control? Outside, rain tapped against her window. Claire stared at the city lights blurring through the glass and told herself one thing. She would keep the lens pointed where it belonged. On truth, not on her, at least. That was the plan. Monday morning at Cole and North Capitol felt sharper than usual. The lobby was busier, the security lines tighter. Claire clipped on her visitor badge, noticing the subtle change. More eyes on her, more whispers as she walked past rows of employees. She headed to the 27th floor, camera bag slung at her side. The assignment was simple: capture candid shots for the quarterly scholarship report. But when she stepped out of the elevator, she could feel it. The air was different. Inside the boardroom, a meeting was already underway. Claire wasn't supposed to be there, but through the glass wall she caught fragments. Adrian at the head of the table, jacket buttoned this time, his tone sharp. No, I won't approve a sanitized gallery. The whole point was to show authenticity. A board member's voice carried back. Authenticity is a liability. That candid shot of you half asleep at the table. It's circulating already. Investors are nervous. Adrian's jaw tightened. Nervous because they're reading gossip blogs, not reports. That's not Claire's problem. That's ours. Cole, another board member, said, "You're letting one freelancer define our brand." That's reckless. Claire turned away before anyone noticed her lingering. She walked to a side corridor, heart thudding. She hadn't released that photo, which meant someone else had. When Adrian finally emerged, he looked more tightly wound than she'd ever seen. He pulled her aside into an empty office. "You didn't send the fatigue shot to anyone?" he asked. Claire bristled. "No, I flagged it, but I haven't delivered it. Check your system logs if you don't believe me." Adrian rubbed the back of his neck. "I believe you, which means someone got into our archives. Or," he stopped, "or..." Claire pressed. "Maya," his voice was flat, almost reluctant. "She still has access to some of the Foundation's channels. If she wanted to make a point..." Claire folded her arms. "And the point is that I can't be trusted." "No, the point is that she wants me to remember she's still in the game." Claire's pulse ticked faster. "So now my name is collateral in your corporate divorce." Adrian met her eyes, something like apology flickering there. "I'll fix this." That afternoon, Maya showed up at the office. Claire saw her before Adrian did heels, clicking against marble. Hair immaculately pulled back, a navy dress tailored to precision. She looked like she belonged here, like she still ran the place. "Claire," Maya said smoothly, spotting her in the hallway. "Busy with your lens again." Claire kept her voice cool. "Comes with the job." Maya's smile was weaponized. "It must be intoxicating, having this kind of access." One day you're snapping pictures at a gala. The next, you're shaping how the world sees a billion-dollar empire. Claire didn't bite. I shape what the camera sees. That's it, is it? Maya tilted her head. Because from where I stand, you're more entangled than you realize. And Adrian, she let the name linger. Adrian is not a man who entangles lightly. Before Claire could respond, Adrian's voice cut across the hall. Maya, he walked toward them, expression unreadable. You're not supposed to be here. I was invited to the Foundation committee meeting, Maya said smoothly. Still on the calendar, unless someone forgot to remove me. Consider yourself removed, Adrian said. His tone carried steel now. And stay away from Claire. For the first time, Maya's mask slipped just a crack. Then she laughed lightly, brushing past them. Be careful, Adrian. People might think you're protecting her. The doors shut behind her, leaving silence in her wake. Later, over coffee in the staff lounge, Claire finally spoke. You know she's right. People already think I'm part of your image strategy. Adrian sat across from her, sleeves rolled, tie loosened. He looked tired, but his voice was steady. Let them think what they want. You know the truth. I know the truth. That's not enough, Claire said quietly. Not when your board is breathing down your neck. Not when blogs are picking apart my life for scraps. Adrian leaned forward. Claire, if this is too much, if you want to walk I'll respect that. She studied him. The easy out hung there like a lifeline, but something inside her refused to grab it. No, I'm not walking. But I'm not your scapegoat either. You never were, Adrian said. And I'll prove it. That night, Claire sat at her kitchen table, editing photos. Her apartment smelled faintly of coffee and rain. On her screen, frames unfolded. Interns huddled over laptops. Employees laughing over lunch. Adrian standing by the window with the skyline behind him. She paused on that last one. His expression wasn't polished, but it wasn't weak either. It was something harder to define. Tired, yes, but determined, human. Her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Pretty pictures don't protect you forever. Choose wisely. No signature, no clue. But Claire knew Maya was playing a longer game. The next morning, headlines shifted. The leaked fatigue photo was everywhere. Analysts were speculating about Adrian's fragile leadership. Stock tickers blinked red, but in the middle of it, the Foundation quietly posted Claire's series of candid shots from the internship lunch. The images told a different story. Interns smiling, employees leaning in, Adrian listening intently. The comments under those photos told another narrative. Say what you want about billionaires, but at least he shows up. This feels real. For the first time, Claire understood the weight of what she was doing. Her lens wasn't just documenting. It was deciding which version of the truth people would believe, and someone might. The board, the prespers, ready to weaponize every frame. Claire leaned back in her chair, staring at the glowing screen. She had wanted to tell honest stories. Now, honesty itself was a battlefield, and she was standing dead center. By Wednesday, the storm had only grown louder. Financial blogs ran the fatigue photo on repeat. Commentators speculated on live TV. Is Adrian Cole stretched too thin? Stock tickers bled red for a second straight day. Claire tried to tune it out. She buried herself in editing the internship lunch photos, sending final selects to the Foundation. But she couldn't escape the weight pressing on her chest, the knowledge that her work was being twisted into ammunition. Her phone buzzed. "Adrian, can you meet tonight?" Off the record. She hesitated. Boundaries mattered. Yet something in the bluntness of his message cut past her resistance. She typed back, "Where?" "Pier 62. 8 p.m. The pier was quiet except for the slap of water against the pilings and the faint hum of ferries crossing Elliott Bay. Claire found Adrian leaning against the railing, suit jacket gone, shirt sleeves pushed to his elbows. He looked less like a CEO and more like a man trying to breathe. "You shouldn't be out here," she said as she approached. "Half the city's gossiping about you. Someone could snap a picture." He glanced at her, grey eyes shadowed. "Let them. I'm tired of hiding behind curated optics." Claire folded her arms. "You asked me here. Off the record. What do you want?" Adrian exhaled, staring at the water. "Perspective. Everyone around me bored, investors, PR cares about control. They're terrified of what they can't spin. You don't play that game. You just show what you see. That's my job. It's more than a job," he said, turning toward her. "You've captured things I didn't know I was showing. Things no one's supposed to see." Claire's chest tightened. "And that scares you?" "It terrifies me," Adrian admitted. Then, softer, "But it also makes me feel real." The honesty in his voice hit harder than she expected. She gripped the railing, fighting the pull in her chest. "Adrian, I can't be responsible for making you feel real. That's not part of the contract." His mouth curved in something halfway between a smile and a wince. "You're right. But for the first time, I want something that isn't in the contract." Before she could answer, her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Check tomorrow's headlines. He's not who you think." Her stomach dropped. She knew exactly who had sent it. The next morning, the headline screamed from every business outlet: "Cole's cozy ties, conflict of interest in scholarship fund." The article laid out accusations contracts awarded to vendors with ties to Adrian's circle. Scholarships allegedly benefiting kids of executives. The piece was slick, detailed, and carefully sourced. To carefully Claire read it twice. The tone, the timing this had. Maya's fingerprints all over it. Her phone lit up with messages. Friends, colleagues, even her editor from a past gig. "You're working for him. Did you know?" She shoved the phone aside and paced her apartment. Her gut screamed the accusations were spun, but the public didn't care about nuance. The narrative was shifting, and she was already entangled in it. The knock on her door startled her. She opened it to find Adrian, sleeves rumpled, eyes dark with exhaustion. "You shouldn't be here," she said, pulling him inside. "I needed to see you," he said, voice low. "They're going after the foundation now. Using the kids as leverage." Claire's chest clenched. "Maya, yes." He raked a hand through his hair. "She knows where to hit. She knows how to bend truth until it breaks." "And I'm collateral," Claire said bitterly. Adrian met her gaze. "You're more than collateral." She shook her head. "No, you hired me for candid. Now I'm standing in your living room while your ex leaks bombs to the press. Do you realize how insane that sounds?" Adrian stepped closer, tension rippling through him. "I realize I trust you more than I trust anyone else right now. Maybe that's insane. But it's true." Claire's pulse hammered. For a moment, the air between them was charged, precarious. Then she forced herself to step back, Trust isn't enough, Adrian. Not if Maya keeps pulling the strings. Silence stretched. Finally, he said, then we cut the strings. That evening, Adrian called a press conference. Claire watched from the back of the room, camera raised. His voice was steady, controlled. The accusations are false. Our scholarship program is audited independently. Every contract is transparent. But let me be clear, if mistakes are found, I'll own them. No spin, no scapegoats. Flashbulbs erupted. Reporters shouted questions. Adrian held his ground, and through her lens, Claire saw it, not a man untouched by scandal, but one refusing to let scandal define him. She snapped the photo. The next morning, that image, not the fatigue shot, not Maya's smear, was the one leading headlines. Cole faces fire, stands firm. Claire sat in her apartment, scrolling the coverage. Relief mixed with unease. Her photo had shaped the narrative again. Her work had power, maybe too much. Her phone buzzed. A new message, unsigned. Careful, Claire. Even truth can burn you. She closed her eyes. Maya wasn't finished, and somewhere deep down, Claire knew neither was Adrian. The morning after the press conference, Claire tried to escape into routine. Coffee, oatmeal, checking her calendar. She told herself she'd spend the day editing, stay off the news cycle. But by 9 a.m., her phone was buzzing again. Adrian Cole. She stared at the name on the screen, thumb hovering, then answered. Bennett, are you free? His voice was low, raw. I was hoping for a quiet morning. Then I'll ruin it, he said. Come by headquarters. There's something you should see. Before she could object, the line clicked dead. When Claire arrived at Cole and North, Adrian was waiting in the lobby. No entourage, no mask of composure. Just him in a charcoal suit, with dark circles under his eyes. He guided her to a private elevator, silent until the doors closed. What's this about? She asked. He handed her a folder. Inside were printouts of emails, her emails, personal ones, notes to a past editor, messages to her sister, even an old invoice from a photography gig. Claire's throat went dry. Where did you get these? They were sent to the board anonymously, packaged with a neat little bow, evidence that you're biased, compromised, maybe even colluding with me. Her stomach twisted. This is Maya. Adrian nodded once. She's weaponizing you to get to me. If the board believes you're compromised, they'll say every photo you've taken is propaganda, and they'll force me to cut you loose. Claire shut the folder hard. So what? You want me to vanish quietly, so your empire stays clean? Adrian's gaze locked on hers, steady, unflinching. No, I want you to stay, but I need you to understand what it means if you do, later. In his office, the city skyline stretched behind him like a wall of glass. Adrian leaned against the desk, arms crossed. The board will meet Friday. They'll push me to replace you with someone approved. If I resist, they'll say I'm protecting a liability. That puts you and me in their crosshairs. Claire stood at the window, arms wrapped around herself. And if you don't resist, then they win. Maya wins. And everything we've built around truth collapses into spin. The weight in his voice pressed against her chest. She turned to face him. Why does it matter so much to you? You're a billionaire CEO. You could bury this whole mess under 10 PR firms. Adrian's jaw worked. He stepped closer, voice quieter now. Because I'm tired of living behind glass. Because for once, I want the story to be real. And you're the only one who makes that possible. Claire's breath caught. The space between them charged, like static before a storm. She forced herself to step back, creating distance. You're asking me to stand in the fire with you? Yes, he said simply. And what happens when I get burned? For a moment, something vulnerable flickered in his eyes. Then I'll be there, too. That evening, Claire returned to her apartment to find an envelope slid under her door. No return address. She opened it with shaking hands. Inside were printed photos of her taken without her knowing. Claire at the grocery store. Claire leaving her apartment. Claire shooting at the gala weeks ago. A note scrawled across the last print in red marker. Every lens cuts both ways. Her skin prickled cold. She called Adrian immediately. He answered on the first ring. Claire, they're watching me. Maya's people, or worse. I just got photos of me. I'll send security. No, she said sharply. I don't want your guards outside my building. That only makes me look more tangled up in this. Claire, I'll handle it. Her voice shook, but she forced steel into it. Silence. Then Adrian said, softer, you don't have to handle it alone. The next day, Claire arrived at headquarters again, camera slung across her body like armor. As she moved through the offices, she noticed the way employees looked at her now, some curious, some cautious, a few openly suspicious. Word had spread. During a break, Adrian pulled her aside into a quiet corridor. The board is already leaning against us. Maya's whispering in their ears, telling them you're a liability. Friday's meeting will decide everything. Claire tightened her grip on the camera strap. Then maybe I should step away. If I go, you keep your credibility, and I get my life back. Adrian shook his head. That's exactly what Maya wants. She doesn't care about you. She cares about proving that truth can't survive in this world. And I won't give her that win. Something in his conviction rattled her. He wasn't pleading. He was daring the world to stop him. She whispered, you make it sound like a war. Adrian's eyes softened. It is, and in that moment, Claire realized two things. She was already in it, whether she wanted to be or not. And walking away would mean surrendering the very thing she'd sworn to protect. That night, back at her apartment, Claire scrolled through the folder of photos she'd taken, frames of interns. Employees, candid laughter, moments no smear campaign could erase. Then she stopped on one. Adrian at the window, the city behind him. Exhaustion etched into his face, but his shoulders still squared. She whispered into the quiet, human. Not scandal. The words felt like both a promise and a warning. Her phone buzzed with another unknown text. You think he'll protect you? He couldn't even protect me. Claire's blood ran cold. She didn't need a signature to know who had sent it. Maya wasn't just circling anymore. She was aiming straight for the kill. Friday morning dawned grey, the kind of Seattle light that blurred glass and steel into the same muted tone. Claire rode the elevator to the 27th floor with her stomach knotted tight. She wasn't supposed to be part of the board meeting. But Adrian had asked her to come, just in case. He'd said the boardroom was a cathedral of power. Long mahogany table, her backed chairs, walls lined with muted art. 12 directors sat like judges. Adrian took his place at the head, jaw set. Claire lingered near the back wall, camera slung low, trying to look like furniture. The chairwoman, A sharp-eyed woman named Eleanor Frost cleared her throat. "Mr. Cole, we've convened to address concerns about the Foundation, the recent negative press, and the role of your contractor." Her eyes flicked toward Claire like a scalpel. Adrian didn't flinch. "Claire Bennett is not the problem. She's delivered exactly what I hired her for: authentic documentation of our scholarship program." One board member snorted. "Authentic? The press calls her your personal photographer. Half the blogs are speculating about your relationship. It's unprofessional, reckless." Another added, "And that fatigue photo was leaked without authorization." Adrian cut in, voice sharp. "Not by her. By someone who wants to undermine me." The door opened. Claire's breath caught. Maya Hart walked in, perfectly composed, a folder in her hand. "Apologies for the interruption," Maya said smoothly. "But since my name has been mentioned in connection with these matters, I thought it best to clarify." Eleanor gestured her forward. "Go on." Maya set the folder on the table. "Evidence. Communications suggesting Ms. Bennett has a personal relationship with Mr. Cole that compromises her professional role." Claire's pulse spiked. She knew what was coming before Maya slid out the printouts. Screenshots of texts, snippets of emails, cropped, edited, twisted out of context. Claire recognized her own words, stripped of nuance, rearranged to look like collusion. "This is fabricated," Claire said, voice tight. Maya arched a brow. "Or interpreted." Adrian slammed a hand against the table. "Enough, Maya. You don't work here. You don't speak for this board. And you sure as hell don't speak for me." Maya's smile was cold. "I don't need to. The optics speak louder than either of us." Eleanor tapped the folder. "Mr. Cole, the board's position is simple. You cannot allow a single freelancer, especially one surrounded by controversy, to jeopardize this company's stability. We recommend immediate termination of her contract." The words landed heavy. Claire's throat closed. This was it. The moment she became disposable, Adrian stood, shoulders squared. "No." The room rippled with murmurs. Eleanor narrowed her eyes. "You're defying the board." "Yes," Adrian said, voice steady. "Because Claire is the only one telling the truth. And if we abandon truth for optics, then everything we claim to stand for is a lie." The silence that followed was electric. Some board members looked appalled, others uncertain. Maya's expression faltered for just a fraction of a second. Eleanor finally spoke. "Very well. If you insist on protecting her, understand this. The responsibility and the fallout will be yours alone." "Accepted," Adrian said. The gavel of her words sealed the meeting. Afterward, Claire followed Adrian into his office, adrenaline still crashing through her veins. "You just went to war with your board," she said. "I've been at war with them for years," he replied, loosening his tie. "This was just the first time I chose the battlefield." Claire dropped into a chair, exhausted. "You shouldn't have done that. You painted a target on both of us." Adrian leaned against his desk, eyes fixed on her. The target was already there. At least now it's out in the open. She met his gaze, the intensity burning there. For a moment, the weight of what just happened pressed them closer, like gravity pulling two objects in orbit. "You could have walked away," she whispered. "I don't want to." Her chest tightened. "Adrian, this isn't just about photos anymore. It's about power, politics, Maya. I don't belong in this world." "Yes, you do," he said quietly. Because you don't play by its rules. That's exactly why I need you here. The air between them thrummed, fragile and dangerous. Claire forced herself to look away, to stand. I need space. Before I lose myself in all this. Adrian didn't stop her as she left that night. Claire sat in her apartment, staring at the city lights bleeding through the rain. Her phone buzzed with another text from an unknown number. He can't save you forever. She didn't respond. She didn't delete it either. Instead, she pulled up the photo from the press conference. Adrian at the podium, shoulders squared against the storm. A man choosing to stand in fire. Her hands trembled as she whispered to the empty room. And now I'm standing there too. Across town, in a penthouse, bathed in low light, Maya poured herself a glass of wine. She watched the coverage on TV, the headlines shifting, the stock tickers bleeding. She smiled, sharp and thin. Game on, she murmured. Saturday morning, Claire woke to a pounding on her door. Her first thought was Maya. She braced herself, heart hammering, and opened it only to find Adrian. Rain slicking his hair and jacket. You're soaked, she said. Startled. Good observation, he replied dryly. May I come in before I drown? She stepped aside. He moved past her into the small apartment, scanning the walls crowded with framed prints, the tiny desk stacked with hard drives, the coffee mug half full on the counter. His world was penthouses and glass towers. Hers was cramped spaces that smelled like espresso and photo paper. Why are you here? Claire asked because Maya went public. He pulled a folded newspaper from inside his jacket and set it on her table. The headline screamed, "The woman behind Cole's scandal, photographer or mistress." Claire's stomach dropped. She didn't need to read the article. The insinuation was enough. She's not just coming after me anymore, Adrian said quietly. She's coming after you. Claire gripped the back of a chair, her voice sharp. Then you need to end this. Fire me, cut me loose. Make a statement that I was never anything more than a contractor. Adrian shook his head. That gives her the win. She wants you gone because you're the only proof I still value truth over spin. Claire snapped. Truth doesn't matter if the world thinks I'm sleeping with you. The words hung heavy. Adrian's jaw tightened. Are you? He asked softly, almost like a challenge. She froze. Don't, but he stepped closer, lowering his voice. Because I'm thinking about it. Every time you stand there, fighting for your work, refusing to bend, I think about it. Her chest rose, sharp and uneven. Adrian. He stopped inches away, his voice rough now. Tell me you don't feel it too, and I'll drop it. Right now, Claire closed her eyes, pulse racing. She wanted to say it. She wanted to walk away, slam the door, keep her boundaries clean. But the truth pressed hot and undeniable under her skin. She opened her eyes. I can't. Silence. The kind that hummed louder than words. Then Adrian stepped back, raking a hand through his damp hair. Then we're already in trouble, he said later that day. Claire forced herself back into work. She sat at her desk editing photos, though her mind wasn't on the images. Her phone buzzed every few minutes, friends, texting, colleagues, asking if the rumors were true. She ignored them all. Her inbox pinged with a new message. Subject, exclusive interview request. The sender, a major news outlet. The body of the email was blunt. We're running a feature on the Cole Foundation controversy. Would you like to comment on your role in Mr. Cole's inner circle? Claire stared at the screen. Inner circle. The words crawled under her skin. She wasn't anyone's circle. She was a photographer. That was all. Her phone rang. Adrian again. She didn't answer. Instead, she opened a draft reply to the journalist. No comment. She hovered over send, then deleted it. Staying silent felt like surrender. Speaking felt like betrayal. She shut the laptop hard, shoving it away. By evening, Adrian showed up again, this time in a car idling outside her building. Claire spotted him through the rain-streaked window. Standing against the sleek black sedan, she went down anyway. "You can't keep showing up here," she said as she stepped onto the sidewalk. "I don't care what it looks like anymore," Adrian replied. His tone was hard, edged with resolve. "They'll say what they want, no matter what we do. I'm done playing defense." "What does that mean?" "It means tomorrow I'm holding a press briefing. And you're standing beside me." Claire blinked. "Absolutely not." "Yes," he said firmly. "If I let them paint you as a scandal, they'll destroy your career. But if I put you beside me, if I name you as the official documentarian of the foundation, then they can't twist it. They'll have to face the truth, that you're here because you're damn good at what you do." Claire's voice shook. "And if they still twist it, then we twist back harder," Adrian said. For a long moment, she just stared at him. He was reckless, defiant, infuriating. But he was also the first person who had ever fought for her reputation as fiercely as she fought for her own work. "Claire," Adrian said softly, stepping closer, "you've been carrying this weight alone. Let me carry it too." Her throat tightened. "And when it crushes us both," his mouth curved, grim but certain, "then at least we go down standing." That night, Claire lay awake, staring at the ceiling. The city outside buzzed with its usual hum, but inside, her thoughts spun. She had come into this job with boundaries sharp as glass. No entanglement, no blurred lines. And now she was about to step onto a stage beside the one man who made her want to break. Every rule she'd set, her phone lit on the nightstand with another anonymous text. "You'll regret standing with him." Claire rolled onto her side, ignoring it. She already knew she'd regret it, but she also knew she was going to do it anyway. Sunday afternoon, the Foundation's press room buzzed with reporters. Lights, tripods, microphones, every corner of the space felt like a trap waiting to snap shut. Claire stood just outside the curtain, heart pounding. She wasn't supposed to be here. She was a photographer, not a prop. Yet Adrian had asked no, insisted that she stand beside him. "You don't have to do this," Adrian said quietly, adjusting his cufflinks. His suit was sharp, but his eyes were tired. "Yes, I do," Claire replied, though her hands trembled. "If I don't, Maya wins." Adrian gave her a look, part pride, part something softer. Then the announcer's voice boomed, "Ladies and gentlemen, CEO of Cole and North Capital, Adrian Cole." The curtain swept back. Flashbulbs exploded. Adrian walked forward, shoulders squared, and Claire followed, a step behind, then to his side. A murmur rippled through the crowd of reporters, surprise, skepticism, the low hum of a story writing itself. Adrian spoke first. His voice was calm, firm. "Our foundation has been accused of conflicts of interest. Those accusations are false. Our records are open for audit. But let's talk about why we're really here. Education isn't a PR tool. It's a lifeline. And we're not going to let politics, spin, or personal vendettas strip that away." He gestured toward Claire. Cameras swung to her. This is Claire Bennett, Adrian said. She's not a mistress. She's not a pawn. She's a photographer. I hired her to show the truth, and I stand by that decision. The room erupted with questions. Mr. Cole, are you confirming a personal relationship? Ms. Bennett, have you benefited financially beyond your contract? Why bring her here today if not to shield yourself? Claire swallowed hard, stepped up to the podium. Her voice was steady, even as adrenaline roared in her veins. I'm not here to shield anyone. My work speaks for itself. You've seen the photos, the interns, the students, the candids. They're real because they're not staged. That's all there is to it. I document, nothing more, nothing less. Flashes burst faster. A reporter shouted, "Do you deny being personally involved with Mr. Cole?" The silence stretched. Claire could feel Adrian's eyes on her, waiting. She drew in a breath. I don't comment on my personal life. What matters here are the kids this foundation supports. That's where the story is. It was both an answer and a refusal, and it was the only line she could walk. Adrian nodded once, almost imperceptibly. The press conference ended in chaos, reporters jostling, headlines already forming. But when they stepped off stage, Adrian caught Claire's hand, just for a second, hidden from the cameras. His grip said what his words couldn't. We did this together, that night. Claire sat in her apartment, scrolling through coverage. Some outlets framed it as defiance, others as confirmation of the scandal. But one headline stood out: Cole and Bennett, choosing truth over optics. Her phone buzzed again. Another unknown number. She almost didn't look. The message chilled her. You just made the worst mistake of your life. Maya wasn't finished. Monday morning, Claire woke to the sound of her phone exploding with notifications. Maya had played her final card. A leaked video clip, posted online, already viral. Grainy footage of Adrian outside Claire's apartment, rain pouring, the two of them standing close. The headline was brutal. Caught on camera, billionaire CEO and his photographer. Claire's chest constricted. She hadn't kissed him. They hadn't even touched. But the angle, the framing, Maya knew exactly how to twist perception. Her phone rang. Adrian, I saw it, she said before he could. Speak, don't panic, he said, though his voice was tight. My team's drafting statements. We'll push back. Push back how? Claire snapped. They don't care about the truth. They care about the story. And Maya just gave them one. Silence stretched. Then Adrian said, softer, Claire, I'm sorry. I dragged you into this. She pressed a hand to her eyes. I chose to stay. Then let's face it, together, Adrian said. By afternoon, Claire was back at headquarters. The atmosphere was electric, employees whispering, phones buzzing. She walked past them all, head high, even as her stomach churned. Adrian was waiting in his office, suit jacket off, tie loose. He looked at her like she was the only steady thing left. They'll crucify us, Claire said. Maybe, Adrian admitted. But if we let them, then Maya wins. And I'm done letting her win. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. Claire, you asked me once why truth matters so much to me. It's because I've spent my life hiding behind power, behind walls of glass. And for the first time, with you, I don't want to hide. Her chest tightened. Adrian, but he cut her off, voice steady now. If standing beside you costs me everything, so be it. At least it'll be real. She searched his face, looking for the mask he always wore in boardrooms, at galas, in interviews. It wasn't there. Just him, raw, honest, and for the first time, Claire let herself admit the truth. She wanted him. Not the CEO, not the billionaire, the man who refused to bow, even when it would be easier. Slowly, she reached for his hand. His fingers curled around hers, firm, certain. "Then we face it," she whispered. The fallout was brutal. Headlines burned. Stock prices dipped. Analysts sneered. Maya smirked on talk shows, claiming she had tried to warn the company. But amidst the noise, something else happened. The scholarship students began posting their own photos, their stories. Kids in hoodies holding acceptance letters. Families at kitchen tables, beaming with pride. They tagged Claire's images. They tagged Adrian's foundation. They built their own counter-narrative, louder than Maya's spin. By the end of the week, the story had shifted again. Not about scandal, not about optics, but about a fight over what truth looked like and who got to define it. Late Friday night, Claire sat with Adrian on the roof of his penthouse, the city spread below. The air smelled of rain and steel. "You realize," she said, leaning back against the railing, "this doesn't end neatly. They'll keep coming. The board, the press, Maya, there will always be another fight." Adrian glanced at her, a half smile cutting through his exhaustion. "Then we'll keep fighting." Claire laughed softly, shaking her head. "You make it sound so simple." "It is," he said. "When you're not alone." For a moment, the noise of the city faded. Claire closed her eyes, letting herself breathe. She didn't know if they would win every battle. She didn't know if love could survive in a world built on power plays and headlines. But as Adrian's hand found hers, steady and warm, she knew this much. Whatever came next, they were standing in the fire together, and sometimes that was enough.